Welcome back to the Ants Subang YouTube channel. In today's video, I am going to show you what will happen if you combine a pack of Asian marauder ant queens of the Carebara species together. In most cases, they are able to live peacefully together without hurting each other during the founding stages. The most common and well-known species of the Asian marauder ant is Carebara diversa. The queen is big, black in color, and built like a tank with wings. They are extremely difficult to keep once they head past the 6-month period, but if you were to successfully keep them, you would have the privilege to watch one of the most aggressive dominant species with fascinating behavior, especially while feeding. There is no way that you can make a mistake in identifying this species. I am no myrmecologist, but I have caught enough of this Carebara diversa to know its differences and characteristics, and I am keeping 2 of the Carebara species, diversa and affinis. If you are one of those people who loves ants like I do, you should have a basic foundation for identifying ant species, at least the common and obvious ones around your neck of the woods. It is very easy to make incorrect assumptions when it comes to identifying ant species in the field, and up to this day I still make mistakes. This queen ant you have been watching for the past 2 minutes is not a Carebara diversa queen. In fact, she is from another species of Carebara. I am not sure what species she is, but she is definitely smaller in size. I have caught this species in the past, but it is one of those that I couldn't raise past founding, and I am really looking forward to keeping this species of Carebara. It could be a pygmy Carebara, and she looks identical to her larger counterpart, the Carebara diversa, but only smaller. We will call her pygmy for now. Let us put the pygmy queen together with the other Carebara diversa queen I've caught during the same nuptial. This is the only pygmy I caught during this nuptial, but I am here to show you if there's anything that will happen if I put them together in close quarters. Other than that, I also want to show you the size difference between them. Pygmy knew she was the outcast after sniffing the back of Carebara diversa's queen. Immediately she went on the offensive, trying to fight off an approaching queen. I left Pygmy in with the other queens, thinking she would be okay since the container was large enough for her to roam free. I thought she could take a couple of sparring matches between the Carebara queens. So, I went to set up the founding test tubes for these queens I have caught. I swear I left her for only a few minutes, but when I came back to check on her, disaster struck. Pygmy was amputated, with every one of her limbs bitten off. The saddest part of this accident was that she was still alive. I am not sure what to do but to remove her immediately. It was a mistake on my part, and I didn't expect her to be in any danger so quickly. Carebara species are known to amputate weaker, less dominant queens as well as those of other species of ants. I have experienced this many times, and I still have not learned the lesson. I did cover the story of amputated queens in one of my Carebara postings. I was still in shock after that, and I have high hopes for Pygmy since she has removed and bitten off her own wings. She may have a chance of starting her own colony. I thought that this was the day I could start a colony of little pygmy ants and have the video content continue. This was the intent, and it abruptly ended with her demise. So I thought to myself, what should I do differently for the video? I decided to drop a bunch of my Carebara diversa workers from my own colony into the new queens that I just caught. I am doing this without any planning, and I wasn't thinking straight. I just want to see if anything will happen if I do. I threw a couple of cotton balls into my colony, they swarmed it instantly, and transferring them is easy this way. So I continue to put more and more workers where the new queens are. I knew this would not harm the new queens, but in the back of my mind, I am still worried that I have made another mistake. It was one of those spur-of-the-moment decisions. Will the workers kill the newly captured Carebara diversa queens? That's what's running through my mind over and over, but it's too late now. I have decided to keep them as they are and see the outcome later on. About a week in, the Carebara diversa queen began laying pouches of broods here and there. How cool is that? The problem now is that I do not know how many queens are actually laying eggs or how many unfertilized queens there are. I can only find out once I separate them into test tube setups. I will leave them for a while longer because Carebara queens are known to have false pregnancy, meaning they will lay eggs anyway even if they are not fertilized. A clue to spotting fertile eggs is their yellowish hue. Eggs that are not fertilized are white, and they just don't fully mature, while the queen will discard them and sometimes feast on them. Sped up another 2 weeks later. I came back to check on the spur-of-the-moment experiment. Lo and behold, the queens actually have decent-sized broods, and the cool thing is that the workers from my own colony are taking care of them. I could tell that the eggs are fertilized judging from the plumpness and dark center of the brood, meaning they are being fed. I gave them food since there were workers who needed nourishment as well, but it is common practice to not give food to the founding queen as they are fully claustral. Right now, I might have just started a Carebara diversa multi-queen super colony, something that I want to avoid keeping. I will spend the next couple of days separating the queens as soon as possible. The problem with having a multiple queen colony is that the workers will select a dominant queen and execute the others. This is already happening, and one of the queens is being amputated alive while her limbs are being fed on. It is sad and cruel, but it is part and parcel of the nature of the Carebara species. So after a short time, the colony will have only one queen. Hopefully that doesn't happen anytime soon. I will try to identify those egg-laying fertile queens, and perhaps every one of them is. Time will tell. Moving individual Carebara queens along with some minor workers into test tubes is a good thing because they can assist in brood management and caring for the queen. Carebara diversa minors have an extremely short lifespan of about 1 to 2 months. Because of this, the colony always requires access to foods and a substantial brood pile, especially when they are small. The queen who doesn't have broods will inevitably fail and die. We have approached the end of the video. I wish I had conveyed and shed light on the dark side of the Carebara diversa species, which not many of you knew other than it having big-headed super majors. From this experience, I wish that nobody will have to go through what I've gone through and gain a little insight into the true nature of this species. Thank you for watching.